Well, the bracket is out. We know who is in the playoffs, and we know that Oklahoma is playing Alabama for the third time in just a little over a year. Welcome back to the MidWeek College Football Breakdown. I'm the AntMan. Next to me is Brandon Stevens. Next to him is Dalton Miller. Got a lot to talk about, guys. And, a lot of people upset, a lot of people very, very happy. It's just the both ends of the spectrum, depending on whether you are in or you're out. Let's start with Oklahoma and just the fact that we are playing Alabama for the third time in just over a year. Overall thoughts, Brandon, I'll start with you. Overall thoughts facing Alabama for the third time in 14 months?
I feel like we know them.
We do.
I feel like we know them, and I feel like we have the floor plans to beat them. You know?
And what's interesting about it too is in the regular season, the odds were in our favor because, we've never lost to them in a regular season game. However, it doesn't really bode in our favor when it comes to postseason. Dalton, do you know what the record looks like?
The last time we played them in a playoff game, we did lose. So that's. And then we beat them in, Trevor Knight's historic game in the Sugar Bowl.
That's right. That's the one that always comes to my mind is the Sugar Bowl win.
What in the postseason, they're 2-1-1 against us.
Yeah.
There you go. So we've won one time. They won twice, and we tied a game. Is that when we didn't play overtimes?
Yeah, back before overtime.
A long time ago.
1918, something like that.
Before Dalton was born. And they still had ties when we were born, when we were young.
Yeah, that's true. It was always weird. But so right now, at least the advantage looks like it's for Alabama. But this season, I don't know, man. What do you think about after our last game with them? Do you feel like they know us better or we know them better?
I think we both know what we're getting. They know we don't have an offense. We're going to live and die by a big play. We're not going to sustain a drive. Yeah. We haven't proved that we can over the last 8 weeks of the season. I don't know why we would start being able to do that now, but I kind of feel like they're reeling a little bit. Georgia just pounded them last weekend.
Yeah.
But I think we know what we get with them too. They can't run the ball. Last Saturday in that SEC championship game, or in the day on Saturday, Oklahoma rushed for more yards than Alabama did, and Oklahoma didn't even play. Alabama rushed for -3 yards against Georgia.
That's insane. What a crazy stat.
They should have, it sounds like, Bam Miller back.
Okay.
And their second string. They were down to just one running back that game. So
they should have him back, but we're going to stop the run. Whether they can run or not, they're not running on us. It's going to be a matter of getting pressure on Ty Simpson. Get pressure on him. He makes mistakes. He proved that Saturday night. He proved that last time we played him. He's proved that a couple times this year. Let's
pull this up and look at it. This is what the bracket looked like on Sunday, the 3-hour show, and that came out in the first 20 minutes. So that was pretty much all anybody cared about. So you could leave after 30 minutes knowing where everyone was. Let's start with the top one. First, we've got JMU versus Oregon. Some thoughts on that game. Dalton, starting with you, dude.
It's going to be a blowout. I'll be shocked if James Madison finds a way to stay in this game, and props to them for taking care of business. And it's, per the rules the committee has set, thanks to the chaos in the ACC, that's what allows James Madison in.
Yep.
And so I'm not going to sit here and say that they shouldn't be in. I was one that wanted a 12-team playoff. They wrote the rules. It is what it is. The ACC sucked this year. So I think that Oregon got a great draw to start the playoffs off with a home game in James Madison.
Based on the rules, they should be in.
Yeah.
But there is zero reason that, you look at the rankings, I think they're ranked actually 24th. And if this wasn't the rules, I don't even think they would be ranked 24th. I don't think they would be ranked in the top 25. I know they're 12-1, but come on. They're not going to even come close to messing with Dante Moore and that Oregon offense. They're going to lose that game by 30, and there's zero reason for them to be in the playoffs. But the ACC screwed it up, and the rule is it's either the 4 or the 5 highest rated conference champions. And Duke obviously wasn't going to be the high rated conference champion with a 7-5 schedule going into that game. So, I mean, you got to put them in, but
you see what I think is a quicker fix is instead of people complaining about the playoff rules, the ACC needs to change their tiebreaker rule.
Yeah.
Why is your tiebreaker allowing a 7-5 Duke team unranked to make the championship game?
I agree with that for sure.
They got to fix their own conference. Like that's not. I mean, the committee set the rule, not assuming you would put a 7-5 team in your championship game.
Yeah.
Well, and let's skip that. Skip over the Oklahoma Alabama. We'll talk more about that maybe at the end of the bracket conversation here, and go down to Tulane and Ole Miss, because that's another one as well.
We already saw this one,
and this is a rematch.
This is a rematch. Yes.
5 touchdown game.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean,
Ole Miss blew them out.
It makes no sense. I mean, it really makes no sense. So I don't like the group of 5 having automatic bids. I just don't, because we proved it with Cincinnati when they were still a group of 5 and they went to the 4-team playoff and just got blasted by Georgia. I mean, it's just not a comparable brand of football, I guess is the way to say it. I mean, you just can't take that team and put them against Ole Miss and it's going to be a close game. You know, barring 2 or 3 special teams or defensive touchdowns that are just fluke plays or whatever, they can't be in that game because their defense isn't going to stop Ole Miss. Their offense isn't going to move the ball on Ole Miss. Right. It's just not it's just not the right system right now. I do like the 12-team playoff, and like Dalton said earlier, I begged for the 12-team playoff, and I'm not going to be mad once they move to 16. I think that, to me, is the top of where they need to go, but I like having the playoffs, and for me, it just means college football has more meaningful games and is here for longer in the year. So,
and Vegas has spoken about these 2 games as well. Looky here, plus 50,000.
Yeah.
JMU and Tulane both. You go drop $10 on either one of them to make it something crazy happen. I mean, you're taking home some cash, but look at that. There's some things that you see at the top. Predicted to win is Ohio State to win the entire thing. Now, looking back at that,
that's crazy as well.
Of Ohio State winning it.
I think right now, in my opinion, Georgia would be the favorite.
Yeah, maybe so.
Because I still don't know. We talked about this last week. I still don't know how good Indiana or Ohio State really are. I think they're both good football teams, but are they elite number 1 and number 2 teams in the country, or are they just the similar level that doesn't match up to, a Georgia or even a Texas Tech? I think Texas Tech is a pretty good football team. They haven't played anybody, but I think Texas Tech is a really good football team, and they're really good in every position, and you can't take any plays off offense, defense, or special teams against them because they will make you pay. I just think Georgia's playing the best right now, and they're so quietly just beating everybody except the one time Alabama beat them early in the season.
All right, let's go down to Miami. There's basically out of this the first round games, you have 2 good ones. Mm-hmm. You have Oklahoma and Alabama, and you have A&M and Miami. Let's talk about that one, guys. Brandon, you got any thoughts on this matchup?
I mean, I do, and I'm in the same boat about this game as I was about the Ohio State-Indiana game. I don't really know how good either of these teams are. Miami is playing better towards the end of the season, but they have proven throughout the year that Carson Beck is not an elite quarterback. He's not a great quarterback, and he will make some dumb mistakes. That being said, we talked about this, I think, last week. If you take the SEC schedule and cut it in half for the top teams and the bottom teams, A&M's schedule all fell within that bottom section. So they haven't really played anybody except for the Texas game.
Yeah.
So who are they? I mean, I don't know. I don't really know what to expect in this game. I mean, right now they have A&M as a 54% chance to win this game, but I don't really know. I don't know that you can really tell me anything. And I'm like, no, you're wrong, because I think either one of these teams may have a chance. I think A&M's probably a little better, but I don't think they're better by a long shot.
And a home game for them as well.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's at Kyle Field.
That's right. Dalton, your thoughts on this one?
This one was just my favorite because of all the drama that came with it.
Sure. Of course.
I absolutely was loving this and still am on social media. Everybody has thoughts on this game, and did the committee get it right or did they not? But I agree. I don't know. I feel like this should be a good game. I think playing at Kyle Field, you're obviously going to have an edge. And, Mario Cristobal was talking about that in general, how this is just a maniacal experience. I mean, the stadium is just insane. So I think that A&M is going to have the edge because of that. A home playoff game at Kyle Field is going to be absolutely wild.
Insane. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's going to be really, really tough for Miami to go in there and get a win.
I agree. Let me ask you guys a question. I know this is going to be a shorter show because we don't have near as many things to talk about. But let me ask you guys a question. With the CFP show or whatever, why do they have it? Because in my opinion, listening to Hunter Yurchek or whatever his name is talk about it, and they contradict themselves all the time. It doesn't make sense. Yeah. I don't feel like they should have them starting at week 9 like they do. Mm-hmm. I feel like they should put one out at the end of the year and say, these are the teams, because they're just digging themselves into a hole for backlash and that kind of stuff. Do you think that they should just get rid of that show and just come out with the rankings at the end of the season, and then they can just say, look, this is an overall bubble of what we saw all year and what has happened, and this is the 12 teams? Or how do you think they should actually handle that going forward?
Dalton, you go first.
Yeah, I think that would be a great idea. Or if they're not going to get rid of it, then they need to actually put their rankings week 9, 10, 11, 12 as they believe it's going to fall, and only make changes based on what happened on Saturday. Mm-hmm. And that's Notre Dame's biggest issue right now, is even going into this week where neither Notre Dame or Miami played, they still had Notre Dame ranked ahead of Miami, and then at the very end switched them even though neither team played. So that's Notre Dame's biggest complaint. I think that Miami should have just been ranked higher than them in general. Because
if you're a Miami fan, the previous 5 weeks, you're like, we're right next to each other and they're ranked ahead of us and we beat them. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
And I know Miami dropped down to 17 in the polls or in the playoff rankings after their loss to SMU. Mm-hmm. That was their second loss of the year. They dropped down to 17, and it took them a few weeks to move back up. But I mean, they played the head-to-head. They had the same schedule. They both have an easy schedule. Like, if I'm a Miami fan, I've been pissed these whole other last 4 or 5 weeks because there's no reason for them to be ranked ahead of us. We beat them.
Head-to-head matters to me. So
absolutely.
I don't care that it was week 1.
It has to. If head-to-head doesn't matter, then why are we playing the games?
Yeah. So I agree. It would be nice to just get rid of the show.
Sure.
I don't know if there's a better system than the committee. I know some people are like, just ban the committee all together. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think you can.
But it is weird that they put out rankings so soon, because I mean, we know that the teams change.
I wish that they would just be. I kind of like the idea of knowing week 9. Okay, this is who the current
I like that. That's what
is. But what I don't like is that, even if you're number 12, well, a group of 5 is getting in here somewhere. Even though they may not even be ranked, they're guaranteed. You could seriously go a full season with a group of 5 being outside the top 25, and they have to put one in.
Yeah,
because of their rules. That's where I would like to change it. I think that get rid of the automatic bid for a group of 5. If Tulane would have gone in and competed with Ole Miss and then won their conference, all right. But yes, they won their conference. Strength of schedule sucked, and their one Power 5 game, they lost by 5 touchdowns. Are they really a playoff team then?
No.
So, I think that would be nice. But yeah, the show's stupid. And it's not even just the committee and is it the Arkansas AD? That's who that Yorick is.
Yeah.
Right?
Hunter check.
Yeah. Not even just listening to him, but I get annoyed listening to the game day cast. And I don't say that often, but they just go in circles for 3 hours.
You got to fill it up.
Complaining mostly about the teams that didn't get in.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, but we already knew. We knew this was coming. You knew Texas wasn't going to get in. Stop acting like you thought they were going to get in. You knew Vanderbilt wasn't going to get in. Stop acting like you thought. Stop acting surprised and call it like it is. That's where I'm just getting annoyed with everybody. Call it like it is.
One of the big annoyances, well, there were lots of them, but one of them was that Alabama plays in the SEC championship, loses, and nothing changes for them. So check this out.
What the committee do when Ohio State lost their title game? Move them down. When BYU lost theirs? Move them down. When we got dog walked in ours? Didn't move us down.
It's Torah, but I thought it was funny. When we got dog walked in ours, they didn't do nothing.
Yeah, they've said all along that they weren't going to punish a team that had to play the bonus game because of a loss. Mm-hmm. So while I understand it, they looked horrible against Georgia. They couldn't do anything on offense. Yep. They weren't good on defense. They weren't good on special teams. They looked bad Saturday against Georgia. So I wouldn't have been surprised if they moved them out. I do like that they stuck to their word and said they weren't going to punish a team for playing a bonus game, because at that point, do you even want to go to your conference championship if you're close?
Well, you're leading me right into I don't know if you guys saw Joel Klatt's thoughts on this, and I thought it actually explained something that was pretty interesting. I'm going to play it, and then I want to get your thoughts on this.
I believe that we should have a defined path to the playoff. I believe that we should have play-in games within conferences this weekend, not just conference championship games.
So in your scenario with the play-in and teams not in the conference championship, so you're not adding multiple, you're just adding one more game for teams. Would it just be assigned by the conference? How would that play out?
I think it should be 14 teams. I think we should have 2 byes at the top, the 1 and 2 seed. But the top 2 seeds would be the Big 10 champ and the SEC champ. And so those 2 championship games would take place as they do now, basically 1 versus 2 in the conference, and the winner would get a bye and a top 2 seed in the playoff. The loser would go to the playoff automatically. Then what you would have is play-in games everywhere else. And there's 4 spots for the Big 10, 4 spots for the SEC, 2 each in the ACC and the Big 12. So the play-in games would look like this. If you're in the top 6 seeds in the SEC or the Big 10, you would get a chance to play a play-in game. So this weekend, Iowa would go to Oregon, winner goes. This weekend, Michigan would go back to USC, winner goes. This weekend, Oklahoma would go to Ole Miss, winner goes. Texas would go back to A&M after beating them this weekend, winner goes. My question my question would be, hey, Texas fans, would you rather have a chance on the field in 60 minutes against A&M or take your chances with 13 people behind closed doors in a committee room? In the Big 12, it would look like this: Houston at Texas Tech, Utah at BYU, winner goes. Hey, Utah and BYU, would you like that opportunity? Probably. And the ACC would be Georgia Tech against Virginia, Miami against Duke, winner goes. You'd have 2 at-large spots for the group of 5 champion. They would get in. And then I would take the next highest ranked team, which is Vanderbilt, and say, hey, you played Notre Dame, winner goes. So we would be playing all those games, and we'd be creating a 14-team playoff on the field with a defined path versus having this selection-based model and having these arguments about what resume is better or what eye test is better. I think it would be a better version for the fans, and it would be a better version for the players.
While I like that idea, then you're just going to have the arguments of, especially in the Notre Dame and Texas that he talked about, or the Notre Dame and who was the other team that he said with Notre Dame?
And he said Notre Dame and Vandy.
And Vandy. Yeah. Then you're going to have the argument, well, why did those teams get picked? If they're not in the top 6 or whatever, they're not supposed to be getting picked. It's never going to please everybody. I mean, that's just the deal with it. I mean, and I don't want to do it like the NCAA basketball tournament where it started at 64 and now it's 68, and they're talking about moving it to even bigger. I mean, that's ridiculous to me because you can't play these games in 2 hours either, 2.5 hours. So that's just going to spread it out for a lot longer. I don't hate the idea. I would love to see it get to a spot where it's kind of like the NFL and there's a ranking system, and based on what your wins and losses that, okay, we're in the playoffs, we're not in the playoffs. But with that has to come a collective bargaining agreement, has to come all these other things that I'm not sure they're going to be interested in doing.
Here's a kind of a compromise with both of them. The thought that you had, Dalton, on waiting until week 9, that's when you start placing teams of what you think it's going to be. And that kind of helps. It doesn't give this, hey, we were ranked number 1 at the beginning of the season and now we're ranked and we took harder games and we did all this other stuff. You consider everything. You start at week 9 when you start ranking folks, and then you go into a Thursday, Friday, Saturday are the conference championship games. Thursday and Friday are those play-in games, and you got that's 3 games a day. 3 on Thursday, 3 on Friday, and then those big ones on Saturday was 4 on Saturday, 4 or 5 on Saturday. But you could do that. I mean, starting in the next couple of years, and that would I like the whole logistics of what he mentioned there because it gave it. Yes, there are still people arguing about who
gave a clear path though to get there.
But at least you played another game. At least you didn't sit at home while the other 2 teams went and played, and then you're still bitching about not being in the playoffs.
See, I don't like what Joel Klatt mentioned because, I think I agree with you, Onk, as far as the NFL part. I would love to get to some type of NFL system, but even in the NFL, their system is flawed, if you will, because your division could absolutely suck and you could be guaranteed a playoff spot if you win your division with 7 wins, right? So there is a chance that people are still going to be upset about that when you could be on the edge of that wild card spot if you have 10 wins and you're better than a division winner. But again, there's never a perfect spot. But the things you mentioned the Vandy Notre Dame spot, if it was to do his, well, then you're going to let Vandy's going to be frustrated because they're 10-2 in the SEC. And now they've got to play Notre Dame, who didn't play the SEC schedule all year. And that's going to be an issue. You turn around, he asked specifically the Texas fans if they would rather take their chances with the committee or turn around and play A&M a second time after you just beat them. Well, then they're just going to be like, no, we already beat Texas A&M. So we have head-to-head over them. So they're going to be pissed about that they got to go now on the road to Kyle Field. And I'm just annoyed because there are some things like James Madison and Tulane, like we talked about. But his big point there, and he made it clear when he specifically calls out Texas fans, he's obviously frustrated with the fact that some of these teams are in. Texas, will somebody please hold you accountable to the fact that you lost to 4-8 Florida?
Right.
You had Texas, you're in if you beat Florida. Oh, no doubt. So stop acting. I'm tired of seeing the stuff well, you would be, 9-2 if you didn't play Ohio State. They're not penalizing you for playing Ohio State. You lost to 4-8 Florida, and nobody's taking accountability for it. My favorite answer all weekend was the Vanderbilt. They said, you're 10-2, or do you deserve a spot in the playoff? And he tells the media straight up, well, we did not do our job. We had chances against Texas, and we had chances against
Alabama.
And he said, we didn't take opportunity on those chances. And they said, are you going to play in the bowl game? Yeah, we're playing in the bowl game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, they can miss me with that argument about the Ohio State thing because here's the deal. The way games are scheduled right now, they're scheduled 5-6 years out. Yeah. We scheduled Michigan when Michigan was actually better than they are right now. Yeah. But you know what? We beat Michigan. You scheduled Ohio State when they were maybe better than they are now and not better than they are now. But when Ohio State was good,
right,
you didn't beat them. Win the games on your schedule and you don't have to worry about it. I am afraid that it's going to end up dumbing down the non-conference schedules because teams aren't going to want to play those games. But you know what? If you're a big dog and you're a blue blood, go win that game.
That's my point.
Go win that game. And if you go win that game, you're in almost every time. If they'd have gone 10-2 and lost to Florida and who was Texas' other loss?
Ohio State, Florida, and
Georgia. Yeah, if they'd have gone 10-2 and lost to Florida and Georgia, they'd still be in. I mean, it's just go win the games that you schedule. You make your own non-conference schedule. If you're scheduling that stuff, that's your fault, and that's why it's going to end up dumbing the schedules down.
Do you guys know? You know what Warby Parker is, right? Glasses company. So they make frames.
Yeah.
They're based in Austin, and Arch Manning does an endorsement for them. So I thought this was a little appropriate here. Many Texas fans are having a hard time seeing Oklahoma in the playoffs. So we'd like to recommend Warby Parker glasses. Not only can they help you see Oklahoma, but also Texas A&M and Texas Tech. Thanks, Arch.
That's hilarious.
That's stupid.
See, another thing that I think could be good then, if we're going to dismantle if teams are going to start dumbing down their non-conference, if you went to more of an NFL type schedule, just make it to where all of the Power Fours do non-conference Power Four games. So then everybody's having to do it.
Yeah. That was the thought for the last couple of years. You know,
the SEC and the ACC do a challenge every single year. Do something non-conference to where everybody in your conference plays somebody in another Power Four conference. Now, yeah, you're going to end up playing a bad team here and there. But again, you schedule those years in advance. You're not going to know who you're going to get. You just have to go win the game. That's all you have to do.
I mean, the one thing that Chief said to me this week that I agreed with after Notre Dame got snubbed was, why are we scheduling these games 5, 10, sometimes 15 years out? Why can't we go to a 2 or 3 year scheduling process and the NCAA schedules it for us? I don't disagree with that, which is basically what you're just saying right now. I don't disagree with that. I feel like for teams like Notre Dame and, really just teams like Notre Dame, because they're really the only one that just creates their own schedule besides, I think
that's why they do it. Because they're not in the conference. So they have to schedule 5, 10 years out because they're scheduling, if they were in a conference, they'd only have to schedule 3 or 4 games a year, but they got to schedule all 12 every single year. So they have to, that's their own fault.
Yeah, it is their own fault. And I told him, and I will stick by this. I mean, here's the deal. Do I think Notre Dame's probably playing like one of the top 12 teams in the country right now? Yeah, I probably do. Like James Madison shouldn't be in. Honestly, Tulane shouldn't be in, but that's the way the rules are written. I get it. But they made a business decision when they had the offer from the ACC and they didn't want to give up their TV deal. They said, no, we're not doing that if we have to give up. We're not joining your conference if we have to give up our TV deal. Well, they made a business decision, not a championship decision. They made a business decision to make $100 million a year off of the TV deal and not a championship winning decision. Because if they're in the ACC, they are 100% in the playoff this year.
Yeah. And I'm glad they're not in because of that reason, because I'm tired of this nonsense.
And he one other thing he said was, well, why is it different rules for us and everybody else? I said, you brought that on yourself. You want different rules for yourself than everybody else. That's why you won't join a conference. So
what's this stuff that Yahoo Sports, did you guys see that?
No.
Notre Dame is now guaranteed a spot moving forward.
Well, yeah, that starts next year.
Why?
And well, it actually happened, I think, in meetings before this season.
That's still dumb.
I know. If they're in the top 12, they're guaranteed a spot from here on out. So I guess they take one away from a group of 12, or from a group of 5, which I don't think is going to matter except for maybe this year or this coming up season, because I think next season we're going to end up going to 16 and they're probably going to be in most of the time anyways. But
now Notre Dame doesn't have to play anybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just go undefeated playing Tulane and James Madison and San Jose State. And
yeah. I mean, I mean, they want to complain, but it's not fair to everybody else that you're being catered to. You are given a legitimate guarantee that you are going to be in the playoffs if you go 12-0 and you make your own schedule every year.
Yeah.
That is complete BS, in my opinion.
That's another thing. We talked about this early in the week. You're mad, yet you make your own schedule. You didn't have to agree to go back-to-back games on the road, Miami and
Texas A&M.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, actually, Texas A&M wasn't that in South Bend, so maybe it was just Miami. But they scheduled those two games back-to-back.
Yeah.
They didn't have to do that.
Nope. Definitely didn't. But I mean, I don't know. It's gonna be a never-ending question until this playoffs is over, and a never-ending argument. I really hope that them opting out of a bowl game wasn't just an administrative knee-jerk reaction, because if they're doing that, then they're not even in it for the players. Because
that's what I feel bad for.
Yeah, if it was the players that said, no, we don't want to go play in a bowl game, they screwed us. So then so be it. But I really have a hard time thinking that I may get, information. We may get information that is what it was. But I have a hard time believing that it's not just the administration saying, no, screw it. We're not going to a bowl game then, which hurts nobody but themselves. You know what? That $100 million that they saved on their TV deal could have got them a lot more money in the playoffs, could have got them a lot more money at a bowl game, but they decided to make the business decision they made.
Yeah. And they don't get fined, but like Kansas State got fined, like I want to say it was $500,000 from the Big 12
for opting out of the bowl.
Kansas should, Iowa State should. Yeah. Baylor.
UCF.
Yep. So the Big 12 said, well, if we're not going to make money, then we're fining you.
I mean, some of these I don't necessarily have a problem with. You look at this lineup of teams on the screen right now. Notre Dame's the only one that's a good team. Well, none of the other ones are good teams. A lot of them are going to lose players. They're going to be opting into the portal as soon as they can and that kind of stuff. And a lot of these are looking for coaches or have new coaches. And so I don't necessarily blame those teams.
There's
Notre Dame not playing is like, huh?
There's also a handful that only have 5 wins.
Yeah.
I don't even think Baylor's bowl eligible.
Yeah, exactly. Notre Dame opting out to me seems like a big crybaby moment.
In case y'all were considering us for a bowl, we're not going to go. Just in case.
Right. Okay, cool.
Rutgers, Baylor. Did Rutgers do well this year?
Didn't even know they had football.
Yeah, they did. Right there.
I doubt it. I mean,
that's their rugby team. They're not going to go play in a bowl game.
Right. No. Yeah, it's their field hockey team. Maybe they got soccer and football confused.
Yeah, wrong for European football.
Wrong football.
Wrong.
Hey, the biggest, I would say, point advance for you, Dalton, happened this week. Added 5, well, B only added 2, making him 95, you 86. So there's where you stand. I don't know how much more you're going to want to add to this.
Like I'm going to have to continue to rock with Tulane.
Because the next one would be on the 19th. The 19th will be Oklahoma, and Alabama will be the first game played out of this 12-team bracket for the playoffs.
Bro, you gotta take one for the team there and not pick Alabama. If I pick Oklahoma, you gotta pick Oklahoma anyways.
I'm not picking Alabama.
I mean, there's the last time we talked about this in pre-show and we didn't even mention it. The last time Alabama lost 3 consecutive games to a team, you looked it up and it was 49, 50, and 51 to who was it?
Vandy.
To Vanderbilt. So We beat them 2 consecutive times. We beat them last year at home. We beat them this year at their place. We get them at home again. We'll see what happens.
Allen set a new record for him.
Yeah.
Team.
Yeah.
49, 51 through 51. And we'll do all 3 of those in 1 year.
Yeah, we'll do all 3 of those in like 16 months, 15 months. It's crazy. It's crazy. Guys, I'm excited. We got pretty much a week off next week. And we'll still podcast next week because that'll be leading up to the OU Bama game and all the playoff games for next week. But kind of got a weekend to ourselves this weekend where not much is going on. We got the wife's Christmas party this weekend at work, so we're going to that. But other than that, we ain't doing nothing. And so it'll be nice to just chill at home, maybe smoke some ribs or something. And this weekend will be good. But you know what they say, right?
The weekend is good.
But the midweek is always better.
And boom goes the dynamite.